Please consider visiting the links that appear on screen or clicking on the links in the description to support this endeavor. It means the world to me, and it helps me to be able to share these devotionals each morning. Thanks in advance for your support, and God bless you.
Hello and welcome to Inspirations with Dr. PJ. Oh, magnify the Lord with me and let us exalt his name together forever. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for joining in for our morning devotional as we worship the Lord in spirit and in truth. Our topic today is really asking a question. Can he trust you? Can God trust you? Luke 16:10 says, whoever can be trusted with little things can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little sure cannot be trusted with anything big. That's a no-brainer. In other words, if a supervisor or manager can't trust you to make sure things go well when they take a little break or even a vacation, then how can they trust you to manage an entire department or fulfill a shift when they're not around? This weekend, I attended a funeral of a relative of a good friend of mine. And I listened to all the many nice things that were said about this person. Then I began to wonder, what would be said at my funeral? I'm quite sure all of us, we sat through a funeral and wondered what would be said. But does anyone want to know God just by looking at my life? They were talking about this old gentleman and how he, in his neighborhood, how he helped so many, how he witnessed everywhere he went, how a lot of people had come to Christ just by looking at his life. And I wonder how many will want to find God, want to know about God by looking at my life. And I'll ask you the same question. Does anyone want to know God by looking at your life? I've had to put things together, especially for my grandbaby, where it says, read all of the instructions first before starting. Several times I've just looked at the picture. I said, oh, this is simple. I don't need to read all the instructions. But once I finished, I had all these parts left over. I'm like, look at all those screws and those little digits left over. And the thing looked fine, but it was still not well put together. But then I've had times when I read the instructions and I followed them and everything came out okay. This is what happens when you are trusted to do the right things, when you follow the instructions. You heard the old saying, if we start out right, you can end up right. Well, that's what Paul was saying to Timothy. He said, look, Timothy, I found that in 2 Timothy 4:7. He said, look, Timothy, if you stay on course, if you keep the faith, Timothy, you can be a faithful follower of Christ. And at the end, you can be assured a crown of life. Don't pay attention to what the priest and everybody else is talking about, what everybody else in leadership is doing. If you follow Christ, started out right, you will end it up right. So Paul, he wants to know, how will we live our lives knowing this? Knowing that at the end there's a crown of life waiting for us. Can we be trusted? Does it even make a difference when you think about your life? after death, and once Christ comes back for us, can we be trusted? Does it make a difference to you right now? What would you have to change or to do differently if you knew there was a possibility that you would lay down for a nap and never wake up again? That's what happened to that elderly gentleman. Just went down for a nap, smiled, ate his lunch, laid down, never woke up again. But what would you do differently if Christ came to you right now and said, I need you, I need someone, I need anybody whom I could depend on to do this major task? Would you have to feel sorrowful because you know you have not done what is required of you with the smaller assignments? Would your head have to hang down because you knew you were not in a position to go fulfill that assignment? Psalms 56, David is encouraging us to pray. Pray to God continually. And he said, it's just not this little quick activity that you squeeze into your day. Oh, I forgot to pray. Oh, you hear a song or you hear something. Oh, I didn't pray. You squeeze him and say this little 30-second prayer. No. David said no. It's something that you're going to have to purposely do morning, noon, and night if you want to make sure you are in a position to be trusted with the big task. He said you can't be slackful, you can't be slowful and thinking you're going to be prepared for the big jobs. He says despite the dangers that were surrounding him at that moment, that he got his strength by resolving to trust in the Lord. Regardless of the circumstances surrounding you today, you should be in a position to show that the Lord is nearby, that you are in good standings. Please be careful, because someone may be trying to learn the truth, and your life may be the only God that they can see right now. Am I my brother's keeper? You better know that you are, and that you will be held accountable for the seeds you have sown in that person's life. You see, God will trust you with bigger and greater responsibilities when He sees that you can be faithful in the smaller things. You may think that whatever you're doing is small, such as helping someone in need, or washing some dishes or clothes for someone who is sick, or giving someone a ride to church or to a doctor's appointment, or even doing an extra task on your job for somebody, helping a coworker out. Strive to do well, even when you are not noticed, even when you think they're not paying attention. Because more importantly, people, God sees you. It doesn't matter who does not see you. He sees you. If you can't balance your own budget, if you can't manage your own savings and checkings account, it doesn't make sense. In a good, rational sense, it doesn't make sense to think that you will do well managing a multi-million-dollar account. That's just a no-brainer. You're always overdrawn. Your little few dollars that you have in the bank, you can't keep up with it. And you think somebody wants you managing their billion-dollar company? Not so. So, dear Lord, first of all, we praise you for your power, for your mercy, for your grace, which is in your word. David asked you to be merciful unto him, and today, thousands of years later, you are still pouring out your divine power and strength on your children. Help me to always be faithful in the small things, because I want to show you that I can be trusted with the bigger things as well. I commit all of my ways and all of my plans to you instead of my own way of doing it. I ask for your guidance to show me the next step. And as I choose to trust you, as I wait to see how you will move and direct me. You told me to commit my ways to you, to trust you, and that you will bring it to pass. Oh, and I just believe that that's going to happen. I confess, Lord, that I cannot run this race on my own. So help me to rely on you, the one whose thoughts are far greater than mine will ever be. The songwriter says, if you can use anyone, just use me. And therefore, Lord, I fix my eyes on you as I purpose in my heart that I will trust you and not be afraid. Lord, I submit my heart and my mind to you because I know greater is coming. And yes, with my whole heart, Lord, you can trust me. You can depend on me. If there's anything that you need, special assignment for me today, here am I. Send me, Lord. For you can trust me. You can trust me, Lord, to do the things that you would have me to do in the way that you would have me to do it. Say the things that you would have me to say. Be the person that you would have me to be this day. Lord, yes. My answer is yes. You can trust me. Amen and amen.